Grand Rising, happy Sunday. I hope everybody's having a positive, productive start to your day today. I know I have had a positive, productive start to my day. I got my wild lettuce harvest from yesterday out and started early this morning, processing it and getting it ready for the crock pot. I really just kind of wanted to share this process to kind of show how easy it is. You know, I say it all the time in my videos on my other channel that knowledge is power. And sometimes we just need to take that first step and making those small little changes, kind of pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. And so the wild harvesting for me is something that I'm really trying to expand my knowledge on and really learn and experiment with the full process. I don't know about you guys, but I learn better hands-on for sure. So I shared some pictures of me processing the wild lettuce this morning. Basically, all that is cutting it down to size so that it will fit in the crock pots. I did research of my own to find out the best way to process it. We're cooking it down to use it for a tincture. So there are other things that you can use the wild lettuce for, but for me, that's just the easiest way to process it right now. If at all possible, you're going to want to make sure to have some kind of glass jar, preferably a darker color glass jar to preserve the tincture, but if not, just a glass jar in general. You don't want to store it in plastic or really metal for that matter, because it's going to alter the taste and it's going to, over time, it will lose its medicinal benefits. So I'm going to work on processing my glass jars after I get this started. The video that I watched of the lady doing it, she just put it in a crock pot, covered it with water, and let it cook for 24 hours. So that's what I'm going to do. I've actually got 2 crock pots out here, and I still have a bunch left over that is probably going to fill the crock pots at least one more time, both of them. So, and something else she pointed out that I try to be aware of is not to pack it down too much. You want to have enough room in there for the water really to get around it. And then for me, I always keep this in the back of my head anytime I'm cooking something in a crock pot. Later on down the road, you may want to add some more water, especially if you ended up packing it too tight. But I kept mine packed pretty loosely. And something to remember about the leafy greens is they will cook down and get smaller as well. So I already got me 1 pitcher of water filled up. It may end up taking more than 1, but you just want to completely cover the leaves with water. You want them to be completely submerged. Something to remember when you're processing it, when you're cutting it down to size, and it's something that I made sure to do. Actually, 2 different things. One is like the bigger stalks and stems. I left those out of the big mix because they're so thick that I didn't want them to start dulling my scissors. So this will be probably 1 crock pot in itself. I'm going to get a big knife out and, cut these big stalks down to size. Definitely don't want to waste them because the stalks is where a lot of that good stuff is. All right, I'm going to give you some more water. If you're able, whether you have a, electric water kettle, my tap water gets pretty hot by itself, but if you can start out with hot water, that will, that will quicken the process of breaking down the external leaf barrier. But another thing to keep in mind when you're processing it is keep your eyes open for different little critters that might be living in the plant. I found several snails when I was processing mine. So, and then get you a metal spoon, preferably metal. Anytime you're doing any kind of tinctures or really in general, you should really be using either metal or wooden utensils. If you've got plastic ones, get rid of them. They cause more harm than good most of the time. All right, and then just kind of, you know, press it down a little bit, stir it around, whatever. And I'm going to put my lid on and then plug in my crock pot. And she said just to leave it for 24 hours. And then, so I'll come back with an update video on that. I hope this encourages everybody to, even if you're not doing it with wild lettuce, no matter what you're foraging, I hope this gets you encouraged to learn more about the wild plants that are in your area and get out and forage the ones that have a lot of nutritional and medicinal value. Be blessed, find peace, and I'll see you next time.